What up dudes, and welcome to Nate's Escape. Today I'm going to teach you about GoPro settings and how to get the best out of your GoPro Hero 7. We've finally got some decent weather in Melbourne, so I thought what better than to take the one wheel out and teach you guys how to get the most out of your GoPro. So I'm going to have to switch this for this.
Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again, state your name.
Now first off, before we even start this video, make sure that you have your GoPro set to Pro Tune so you can actually change these settings. Unfortunately, if it's set to auto, you will not be able to follow any of these steps. So the first setting you should change is your resolution. You should always have the highest resolution possible to ensure that you're getting the best quality out of your GoPro. You should always have your GoPro in 4K unless you're recording super slow-mo like 120 frames a second. And 120 frames a second you can only do 2.7K. So I'll post right here, just to make it easier for you guys, all the frame rates and resolutions that match with each other to get the best quality out of your GoPro. Okay, the second setting that I recommend you changing really doesn't have a correct answer. It is actually the field of view. Say if you're a motorbike rider, you'd want super view. You'd want a really wide angle. For what I'm doing now, I'm shooting in wide. Say if you want to try get more cinematic footage, you'd want it in linear. Unfortunately, in all the high resolutions and the high frame rates, you can't really change the setting, so I pretty much always stick to wide. Now the third setting is make sure all your stabilization is always on auto. That way it ensures the GoPro gets the best stabilization possible. The only time you ever really want to turn this off is if the GoPro's playing up with its stabilization. This can happen in panning shots sometimes, and you'll definitely notice it happening. Now the GoPro is a pretty average camera when it comes to low light, so you want to make sure that you set your max ISO to 200. This will ensure that the GoPro doesn't get any higher in ISO than that, and it'll prevent you from getting noisy or grainy images. Now the next setting is another optional one. It is setting the GoPro color. Now you can set it to a normal GoPro color profile, or you can set it to flat. Now the reason why you'd set it to flat is if you plan on color grading later. For this example, I've just let the GoPro do its thing and I've left it in GoPro color just to show you guys what you can get without color grading. Now the next setting you want to change is sharpness. You always want to set this to low because GoPro tends to over sharpen everything, and you can always add sharpness in post. For the shutter speed of this camera, I always suggest keeping it in auto. The reason why is because this is a fixed aperture camera, meaning it can't change aperture to change exposure. And for some reason, the shutter, when you set it manually, it doesn't work well with the image stabilization. It just comes out really crummy. If this was a DSLR, I'd always say follow the 180-degree rule, but for this, I just always leave the shutter in auto. That way it can change exposure on its own and just the image stabilization doesn't look horrible. Now the next setting is EV compensation. You always want to set this to either 0.5 or -1. The reason being is GoPros tend to overexpose the image. This has been a thing in even previous models, and this will just compensate and make your GoPro footage look a lot better. Now the next one is white balance. Now if you are a color grader, you want to set this to native, but for this video I've pretty much set it to auto. The reason being, I actually have a thing here from the GoPro website. Industry standardized optimized color. The native option yields a minimally processed data file directly from the image sensor that allows blah 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 blah. It pretty much means if you color grade, set it to native. Now the next setting is audio. I pretty much always leave this in auto so the GoPro can compensate for when it's windy or whatnot. Now I pretty much always use a Rode Video Micro on top of my GoPro, but I will link down below a video from a guy named Cody Blue that shows you how to get amazing audio out of your GoPro without using a microphone. So the next setting also has to do with audio. It is raw audio processing. Now what this does is it processes the audio. It can take out wind. It can choose volume a lot better. If I'm talking quietly, it'll make the volume louder. If I'm talking louder, it'll make the volume more quiet. So I either set this to high or medium. You can also do most of this in post-production. So if you love editing and you are an audio whiz, I would just leave this on low and do it all yourself. So this is another optional one. So I'll also be making a video on how to turn the GoPro into an absolute vlogging beast using everything that I have on the GoPro right now. Make sure you click a thumbs up if I've helped you in any way. Make sure you subscribe to stay updated for that video, and I'm out. This one wheel's so damn heavy. I never run out of battery on it. I just can't make it up that steep as hell. And damn, it's heavy. Like, so heavy. Got past the steep part. Look how steep that hill is. It probably won't show on a GoPro. But, whew. And this dog's gonna bark at me. Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. Every time. And now for a hard-earned 0% beer. Dry July's over tomorrow, so I'll be able to get back to drinking real beer. Cheers.